This is the Unit 8 video notes. This unit, the big question is, why is DNA important? We'll be looking at DNA and meiosis. In your book, this is in Chapter 3, Sections 2 through 4. Remember to wink, watch the video, fill in the note sheet, and come up with the question. This may be the last video notes for the year if we don't get more people actually doing this assignment. So the first thing we need to look at is, what is DNA? Here's a couple pictures of DNA. DNA is a large molecule containing chromosomes. It's a nucleic acid. The four main molecules in your body that make up your body are fats, carbohydrates, proteins, and nucleic acid. There's two nucleic acids in your body. DNA is one. DNA is an abbreviation. The long name is deoxyribonucleic acid, and I underlined where the D and A come from to make up the abbreviation for the name. And DNA is really important in your body because it's used to make proteins. And we'll look at that process later. DNA is used to make proteins. Proteins are really, 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 really important in your body. Without proteins, you couldn't survive. DNA is the code to make all the proteins in your body. The structure of DNA was discovered in 1953 by James Watson and Francis Crick. In both these pictures, Watson is on the left and Crick is on the right. The picture on the right here is kind of a famous picture, with them presenting their model for DNA structure. They got the Nobel Prize for Medicine for this discovery in 1962. Two other scientists also helped them come up with the structure. Maurice Wilkins, who worked in their lab, and Rosalind Franklin, who was actually the first person to see the 3D structure of DNA. She used a technique called X-ray crystallography to determine the structure. The structure of DNA is called a double helix. It's like a twisted ladder. You'll make a DNA model with your marshmallows. On the outside or the sides of the ladder is phosphate and sugar. That's called the phosphate sugar backbone. And then the steps of the ladder are nitrogen bases. There's 4 nitrogen bases that make up DNA: adenine or A, cytosine or C, guanine or G, thymine or T. So the 4 nitrogen bases are A, C, G, and T. The order of the bases determines what protein will be made. And when they pair up in the middle, A always pairs with T, C always pairs with G. That's going to be really important for you to remember throughout the unit. And here's a picture of DNA. On the left here, you see the phosphate sugar backbone, or in this says sugar phosphate, the sides of the ladder, the rungs of the ladder, A with T and C with G. Same thing here, sugar phosphates on the outside, A with T, C with G. T is orange, A is red. You should have orange, red all the way down. G is greenish yellow, C is blue, so you should have green, blue all the way down, and you do. I'll be checking for this with your marshmallow lab to make sure the right color marshmallows are matched up. DNA needs to copy itself when your cells divide. So DNA replication is a process by which DNA is copied. 3 steps here. First of all, the DNA has to unzip. Nitrogen bases from the cytoplasm pair up, A with T, C with G, and if everything goes right, you get 2 identical DNA molecules that are formed. If there's a mistake, that's called a mutation. The nitrogen bases in the cytoplasm of the cell come from the food that you eat. When you eat food, you're eating cells, so you get the fats, you get the carbohydrates. As you guys know, you eat a lot of candy, you get a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of sugar. But you also get the protein and the nucleic acid. You get the DNA. Your body breaks down that DNA into the bases and then reassembles the bases into your DNA. And here's a nice animation of the process. I like this one. We'll see this in class as well. You see the DNA going up, it's unzipping. New bases are attaching from the cytoplasm, A with T, C with G, red, green, and blue, yellow. And we'll watch this in class. We'll let it go a little bit longer here for you. But they pair up A, T, C, G. DNA is unzipping, new bases are attaching, and then these 2 DNA molecules here and here are identical. And you can pause the video if you want to and look at that. Yeah, we'll watch this in class as well. So here's a little test for you. On your note sheet, what bases would pair with the following DNA sequences? So underneath C, what base should go here? What's going to pair with C? What base is going to pair with T? For example, G is going to go with C. A is going to go with T. Pause the video and start it when you're done filling them in. Hopefully you're done filling them in now. And here's what you should have had. The second strand that would match up would be GAC, TT, AG, CG. A pairs with T and T with A. C pairs with G and G with C. So why is DNA important? It contains the code for making proteins in your body. There's two steps to this. The first step is in the nucleus. DNA is transcribed as RNA. It's rewritten as RNA. And RNA is the second nucleic acid in your body. That's ribonucleic acid. And then after the RNA is made, it's spread out to the ribosome. The ribosome is the organelle that makes protein, and then translated into a protein. And we have a picture of this on the next page. Remember, you can pause the video if you need more time to write. So here's the picture. We start in the nucleus, DNA. It unzips, it's transcribed into RNA. So here's the RNA. It's a little different nucleic acid. That goes out to the ribosome. Here's the word ribosome right here. Goes out to the ribosome, and a protein is built from amino acids. It's a really complicated process. You don't need to know the specifics at your level, but I wanted you to be aware there's two nucleic acids, DNA and RNA, and they both function in making proteins. Proteins are really important in your body, and proteins are made in the ribosomes. We've seen the word chromosomes before. So what are chromosomes? All the DNA in your cells can be split into 46 chromosomes. Chromosomes are pieces of DNA in the nucleus of the cell. The parts of the chromosome that control inherited traits are called genes. So here's a nice picture here. We're looking in the nucleus. All the DNA in your body is broken into these chromosomes. Small pieces of the chromosomes are genes, and you see the chromosomes made up of DNA. A short piece of that is called a gene. Here's another one. In the nucleus, you have 23 pairs or 46 chromosomes. You get half from each parent. Chromosomes made of genes. Genes consist of DNA. Here's one that's a little simpler. We'll have this one up in class. Chromosomes are made of genes, genes of DNA. This concept can be kind of tricky, but all the chromosomes, all the DNA in your body can be split into 46 chromosomes. Gene is a small piece of the chromosome. And we'll get to that more in class. The second big concept this unit is meiosis. Meiosis is a type of cell division that produces gametes. Gamete is a reproductive cell. The sperm cell is a male reproductive cell. The egg cell is a female reproductive cell. Another way to say that is a sperm cell is a male gamete. Egg cell is a female gamete. And unlike mitosis, meiosis is not a cycle. If you look here, you're going to see there's two cell divisions. There's going to be two prophases, two metaphases, two anaphases, two telophases. You don't need to worry too much about that. We're more concerned with the difference between mitosis and meiosis. And here's another diagram that's similar to the mitosis one you already had. We start with 46 chromosomes. The cell divides once. You get two cells with 46. And then the cell divides again. And at the end, you get 4 cells with 23 chromosomes that are half the number. So at the end of meiosis, you get 4 cells with half the number of chromosomes. That's a couple differences from mitosis. Another difference from mitosis is there's 2 divisions. That's why there's half as many, because it divides twice instead of once. Humans have 46 chromosomes in each of their body cells. So human gametes, the sperm cell in males and the egg cell in females, would only have 23 chromosomes. This is important so the baby will have the correct number of chromosomes. That's really important. If the sperm and egg cell had 46 chromosomes, the baby would have 92. That's twice as many. So the sperm and egg cells have to have half the number of chromosomes so the baby gets the correct number. 23 plus 23 will give you 46, which is the number of chromosomes humans should have. And the second statement's important down here. You get half of your DNA from each parent. Half your DNA comes from your mom, half from your dad. That's why you have 2 copies of each chromosome, because you get one set from one parent, one set from the other. Here's a comparison of mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis, you get 2 cells. Meiosis, you get 4. In mitosis, you have the same number of chromosomes you started with. Here they've already doubled, but you have 2 blue, 2 red at the end. In meiosis, you get half as many, 1 blue, 1 red. Also in meiosis, all the cells are different, where in mitosis, they're identical. I forgot that in the notes. In meiosis, all these cells are different. That's important. And there's 2 divisions. Mitosis, you have 1 division. Meiosis, you have 2 divisions, 4 cells, 4 different cells, half the number of chromosomes. All right, so now you've watched the video and filled in the note sheet. Now come up with a question, either something you didn't understand or something you want to know more about. If your question was answered in the video, you're not going to get full credit. Make sure you write it as a question. Write it on your note sheet. There should be a question space this time. I know I forgot that for the last unit, but it should be on this time. And post on Edmodo when you turn in your assignment. That's some information about DNA and chromosomes.